Today I'm going to show you something super simple. How to make broth. And yeah, you can buy it from the store, you can get bouillon, you can get whatever, but it's actually really simple to make your own broth. Let me show you how. The first kind of broth that I'm going to show you how to make is vegetable broth. All you need for this is some vegetable scraps and water. Whenever I'm making stuff with vegetables or doing prep work with vegetables, I always save the scraps in a jar in my fridge. When the jar is full, it's time to make broth. You guys, this is so easy, you're not gonna believe it. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pour out all these vegetable ends. I got ends of celery and carrots and onions. Sometimes I do green pepper. The basic vegetables that I'm normally working with. See all that? All the scraps. It's all in there. And now, I am going to cover these vegetables with water. There we go. Got the water in there. Amy, should I add any other seasonings to this? I don't. Not until later. All you're gonna do is bring this to a boil, turn it down, and let it simmer for 3 hours, 4 hours, however long it takes you to remember that you have something on the stove. Just let this simmer a long, long time. Here's the thing. Broth is just the liquid that is around the stuff that you've put into the water. That's all broth is. So whatever you put in the water, that's what kind of broth you're going to have. If I put vegetables in the water, it's vegetable broth. If I put chicken in the water, it's going to be chicken broth. If I put this decorative pumpkin in the water, it's going to be decorative pumpkin broth. If I put my chore gloves in the water, we're going to have chore glove broth. Get it? She's boiling, she's boiling. Time to turn her down. It smells so good. I am also going to start some chicken broth. I happen to have a chicken carcass because I recently pieced out a chicken and it was left with the chicken carcass. And we're gonna use that to make chicken broth. So what I have here is what's left from the chicken after you take off the wings and legs and thighs and breasts. And you shouldn't throw this away. You should use it to make chicken broth. So let's do that. All you need is chicken and water and some vegetables if you want. I usually add some vegetables, but really that's all you need to make chicken broth. So what I've got here is the chicken carcass, and then I also have some celery and onions that I had cut up. Now we're gonna add water, cover up what's in here, and same with this vegetable broth over here. We're gonna bring it to a boil, and then we're gonna turn it down to a simmer, and then we're just gonna let her go for several hours. Almost forgot, I do add some thyme and some peppercorns to the chicken broth just because I like to, and that's what I do, so I need to do that. I don't know, about that much? Looks great. And some peppercorns. Also, normally I would have put carrots in with that chicken broth, but I'm fresh out, so no carrots. Soup is about using what you have, okay? Don't judge me. Boiling. Woo! Boily, boily. Now we can turn that down and let her simmer for several hours. And all the goodness will be in the liquid. It has now been several hours and we are going to do the next part of this broth. My dogs are drinking water, they're very loud. So now that these have been simmering for a long, long time, we're actually going to strain the stuff out of it so we just have the liquid left. And here's our vegetable broth. Oh, we still got a little piece of celery in there. If you are really concerned about getting everything out, you can run it through some cheesecloth, but I'm never too concerned about that. Look at that great color. Now, I don't normally do a lot of seasoning with the broth right now. I usually do more seasoning when I use it for a recipe so it isn't over seasoned or incorrectly seasoned for the recipe that I'm using it for. Now let's strain the chicken broth. All that stuff coming out. Just keep scooping and straining until there's nothing left in there to get. We're gonna pour it in here so you can see it. And again, if you're really concerned about getting every little chunk out of there, you can run it through some cheesecloth, but I'm never too concerned about that, so I don't worry about that. There we go. See a little bit of the fat floating there on the top, a little bit. And again, other than the thyme and the peppercorns that I added to this, I don't add anything else until I would use it in a recipe. So salt or anything like that, I'm not gonna add until I'm actually making a recipe with it. So then what do we do with all this broth? Well, there are a few things that you can do with it. You can pressure can it. I don't normally pressure can it because I don't usually make a lot all at once, so it's not enough for me to run the pressure canner. You can freeze it in whatever size bags are convenient for you, or you can just put it in the fridge and you can use it within the week, which is what I normally do. Making broth is pretty easy, it's pretty simple. The best thing about making broth is it's a super simple recipe that is mostly hands-off. You just put everything in the pot and then you let it do its thing all day while you're off doing all the other things that you need to do. I hope you found this helpful. Now I'm gonna figure out what recipe I'm gonna make with all this broth.